Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. Today, we are discussing the Zenith Espada, a fascinating 2012 model year launch that combines the automatic winding system and high-beat escapement of the Zenith El Primero with a conventional three-hand date layout, a non-chronograph El Primero, a fascinating watch that's beautiful in all of its forms, rare in all of its forms, and rarest as you see it here in rose gold with full bracelet. So the timepiece represents a golden era at Zenith, that period between late 2009 and mid-2014 when Jean-Frédéric Dufour was the CEO of Zenith. In the aftermath of the Terry Nataf era, he returned to classical beauty, and he did such a good job with Zenith, he was called up to heaven, so to speak, to become the CEO of Rolex on the basis of his good work in La Loque. Very impressive stuff, and this is one of his classics. So 40 millimeters in diameter in rose gold, it's 12 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, just the case. It's 47.5 millimeters, but you can see that the end link doesn't project beyond the case. So you wind up with a total distance across the wrist of 47.5 millimeters with a very standard 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now, there was also a steel version. There was also a rose version on a strap, but to get rose and the bracelet, that is a combination of the scarcer metal with the scarcer band option. And it wears beautifully on my wrist. Handsome, classical, enduring, thin, with a sloped case flank, easily sliding underneath the cuff. I believe you could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. Because it does have that pivoted end link, this is viable even for a lady collector, and you can see how flat it is and how sloped the bezel is to slip underneath the cuff. Taking a quick look at the bracelet, you can see it has a conforming end link to better mate it to the case, a more progressive and I would say less jarring approach than a straight bar. So it traces the arc of the case, but also the slope of the lugs. We have a little bit of a taper down from the end link to the clasp, polished center links, satin shoulders, polished outer faces. You can see that the removable links are fixed in place using screws, and there's quite a few of them. I would tend to balance a few more of them from side to side, but we can do that easily when sizing the watch for you. It is a friction fit double folding clasp. It's a non-sequential close, so either side can close first and either side can close second. We have the little Zenith star logo and the Zenith name rolling around. You can see later on this case would become what Zenith calls its Chronomaster case. It's still with us. You'll notice that the case of the Chronomaster Sport is identical. It's just slightly different in size. So this case shape stuck around. It was just rebranded. And I do believe that this is Zenith's most beautiful case. It was when this watch was made, and it still is today in 2023. Now, the watch includes a combination of satin on the lug hoods. We have polished bevels, polished case flank, polished bezel, downturned and squared off lug ends, little tapered tips at the end of the lugs themselves. You can see that the bezel has a short vertical kick and then a large sloped flank that progressively slopes towards a dramatically boxed sapphire, designed to give us a little bit of a vintage plexiglass aesthetic. The crown features the Zenith star. By the way, this is a screw-down crown and a 100-meter water-resistant watch, so you're absolutely good to swim with this one. The dial is a lovely tobacco brown metallic with a sunburst graining that radiates out from the center. We have a fluting to the hour track, which is gorgeous. We have an upwardly stepped flange that acts as a scale for reading minutes and seconds. We have a blued Lancet-style seconds hand with a Zenith star counterweight, and then a lovely faceted, polished, and satinated frame for the date itself. We also have faceted and differentially finished, that is satinated and polished, applied hour indices. This is a sports watch, or at least it's a strong all-arounder, being well-loomed, automatic winding, full bracelet, and water resistant. You can see that it's easy to read the watch at night, and like all El Primeros, it's a little bit quirky about the way it sets. So position 1, when you screw it out, that's for winding. Position 2, rather than being the quick set for the date, allows you to set the hands. And by the way, very, very little dead angle. As I turn this crown, the hands jump almost immediately. The manufacturing tolerances are superb. Now pull the crown out all the way, you activate the quick set system, and it's a chunky and satisfying quick set. You can even hear it. It even sounds good. Does not have hacking, but then again, most El Primeros historically have not. It is a good-looking movement. It's an unconventional type of Zenith El Primero, caliber 4650B. Flip it over and you can see it's unusual to see the El Primero naked without its chronograph components, but it's still a good-looking movement. It also gets thinner in this application. It's a bidirectional winder with a 50-hour power reserve. It still has the 10 beat per second rate, 5 hertz, 36,000 vibrations per hour. And it is a sharp-looking caliber with a combination of satination, engine turning, both blued and polished screws. Rotate over. All this pivoting on 22 joules. You can see that it has a barrel that features a combination of a polished ratchet wheel and then solarization on the barrel proper. All of this looking good, quite durable, time-tested, and of course it has the key element on any El Primero. A lot of folks will never use the chronograph on their El Primero, but they enjoy the smoother sweep of the 36,000 vibration per hour movement and its 10 beat per second sound, as well as the double step cadence it holds as you listen to the heartbeat of your watch. It's faster with an El Primero. And this watch was only built during a very brief window. Rarely seen, hardly ever seen with bracelet in rose gold. This is a rare opportunity. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.